for us being here in Singapore, being a parent in Singapore, and when it comes to just I guess raising your kid in this kind of environment then too. There's a lot of advantages that you have then, and it was kind of nice to kind of see that as you unfolds over the years then too, compared to being elsewhere, being in the States.
Okay, so things has quite a bit since we first landed here. We were definitely not parents, but now we are parents. So how the Singapore life changed us raising a family here?
Well, it was quite interesting because you first come here, obviously you're a single couple, so to speak. So you did hang out. Initially, you hang out with a lot of your expat friends. And then over the years, you kind of found a lot of interests. And a lot of locals who have the interest in too. And so you kind of, because again, expats, they come and go pretty much if they come here then too. So within that case, then we would then tend to lean more towards doing local things, or at least hanging out with more locals, because we shared common interests and whatnot. Like pro wrestling, bodybuilding, working out, that kind of stuff, and again, parent stuff as well, like even just hanging out with them. And so then as we then became parents, that was also magnified, because as you are parents, then you're hanging with the kids' parents then too. But it was, being a parent is quite a challenge, but there are some nice perks that you get when you're here, when you have a kid, compared to other places. There's a lot of places that you can take your kids, like the parks that they have here are really nice.
Yeah, a lot of parks.
And you don't have to worry about something bad happening. Whereas you can't leave them alone in the States. You have to be very careful and cautious. That doesn't mean that something bad can't happen.
You just
be extra cautious, but you still don't have to, be concerned as you would if you're in another country then too. So the amount of activities they have there too is nice. Where we are right now, we actually have the community pool.
Which is quite nice, actually.
Well, once you get everything up and running,
they finish
but they have slides there. They have a jacuzzi there that it's nice for the kids to kind of run around, and that's how she made friends with a lot of locals that we have here then as well. But initially we did put her into an international school, I think it was, and that was fine. Obviously it was getting too much.
Yeah, but because when it comes to like private institutions, the funding is quite limited, so they don't have a lot of space. So right now she's in a local school, which is more place to running around. The school facility is pretty good, and
she's adapted.
Yeah, she did it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, initially she it was hard the first couple of weeks, as it would be with any kid just entering the school. But I think over the course of several months, then she's definitely adapted to it, and she's got used to the school and how everything works there too as well. But it was kind of nice to have all of these facilities available for you when you're raising your kid. Space is always in question, but again, everything is in close proximity. Like you have so many kids parks there too. Even inside, they have those areas that interesting. When you first come here, you don't think about this, but then as you grow as a parent, you're kind of looking at some of these things like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also because we're a community, like where we're living, there's a lot of young families. Because we've been living in that community for a while, like the churches we go to, the student care she goes to, it's like, you get to know the other member of the community, because they are also parents as well. So you feel like you kind of found your own communities that you feel you belong to.
Right.
Yeah.
And you kind of adapt that Singapore lifestyle as well.
Yeah. But yes, talking about this, we want to point out something that may not be obvious at time, but become more obvious now is the student situation during COVID.
After they do the treatment here, Alhamdulillah, it's very, very light in my body. My name is Eddie. Sometimes people know me, sometimes people don't know me. If my cat inside my shoulder, everybody know me, who I am. I have sickness in my shoulder, quite sometimes, my neck, my rib, and my back. After I know Dr. Jeff and Dr. Jenny and this kakak here, after they do the treatment here, Alhamdulillah, it's very, very light in my body. Just now I want to fold back my hand, very pains. Right now I can fold my hand until here. I can pull until here. This side, I can go everywhere. Release stress, release everything. Great, I can give you 10 to 10. Honest, bottom in my heart, 10 to 10. My body be released a lot of things. It is honest to my heart to tell you. This is not because of review, because of my cat Bumblebee, everybody know because of what. No, I am sick. I keeping my sick. I don't like to go doctor. I don't go to massage my body. I don't like to do anything. This is my first time to do all this. But sometimes I scared to see people do crack, 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 crack. I scared. But after I did this, for our health, for ourselves, need to try. Thank you very much.
So one thing I noticed is during COVID, Singapore kept the school open as much as it can. Yeah.
Yeah, with Singapore, because compared to what happened at home, back in the States, compared to here, then it was a lot of chaos.
Yeah,
Simply put, because one half wanted it closed down, the other half wanted to continue on. They think it was nothing of it. And so you had a lot of turmoil that was going on with it then too. Now, I do believe kids should have that interaction, but obviously you need to think about their health. And what was nice for Singapore as a whole is that they did prioritize health. And when it came to that, they made sure the schools were safe for your kids to go to so they still could have the interaction after that first 2 months, I think it was.
Yeah.
But after the first 2 months, they made sure that everything was good and that you didn't have to worry about it. Whereas in the States,
There was like different states, different rules, or
if you came from a red state, it was actually, they didn't care. If you came from a blue state, then they were going too far into isolating the kids. So there wasn't really anything that was...
So not like a no standard SOP.
There was nothing that was going on then too. And it basically just became political when it boiled down to it then too as well. So at least here with Singapore, everyone was on board. I'd say, okay, fine, we have to focus on the health first and make sure we can create an environment that is healthy, and then also they can learn then too.
Yeah.
So it was really good that that happened then. So they can actually, and on top of that too, they found out later on after they began to open up and kids entered school that they were behind.
We're talking about the schools in US.
In US.
Some of them, the school closed for good
yeah.
year.
Yeah. And when they came back, they were well behind. Now, it was possible for these kids to actually do the extra work and try to get caught up.
Yeah.
And some of them did, but most of them did not.
Yes.
And because of that, you had a lot of issues with it. The kids were just falling far behind because they missed basically a year. It's hard to actually have that interaction that you have with school as opposed to being at home. We're on Zoom. You're all distracted, you know what's going on.
Exactly.
You're not in the environment that is helpful towards learning.
Yeah.
And so they were very far behind with that then. And some kids they did eventually bring up, but most did not.
Yeah.
And so here, at least with Singapore, during that time, they actually put an emphasis on it then.
Yeah, so that was very good. During that time, some parents may thinking like, no, I remember for some of the patients, they did withdraw their kids from school, but they're not in primary school, they're in kindergarten, so they did withdraw them from a year. But the primary school, secondary school, they kept it open really as much as they can, which is very crucial for a child to be in some kind of a structured environment, being with other people, especially during this difficult time. So hard decision to make, but we can definitely see is paying its dividends now compared to just complete shell or no standard SOP with that. Okay, so.
Did you talk about the learning?
Oh yeah, okay. The one thing I also want to point out is recently, one of my family members just shared with me what's reading levels for kids in the United States compared to kids in the United States. So I was looking back and compared
the ones here in Singapore, right?
The ones in Singapore. But the ones in Singapore, actually, I don't know the reading list. But when I was looking through the US standard reading list, I feel the book, Olivia is in P2 right now. The book she's reading is equivalent to US grade 3 and 4. In fact, the US reading material grade 1 and 2 is almost like what she was doing in K2. So there is definitely something that the MOE has a really emphasis on to making sure the children are progressing in their reading and comprehensions. But there is also a double side of that. Yes, what if my kids is not reading at this level because consider it's already ahead, even just doing average. don't worry, because with children, when it comes to brain development, the brain will not be fully, at least when it comes to comprehension, logic, mathematic part of brain will not be fully developed until they're probably 9 to 10. So if you are parents and you are quite concerned about, oh, my kids are not able to catching up, or don't worry, wait till maybe like 3rd or 4th grade, and that's when they part of the brain that's fully developed, that part of the brain can be fully developed. Then you can tell if the student is really struggling or not.
Yeah, so it's nice that when we went through the whole schooling procedure here compared to what we go in the United States, how much it's changed for us being here in Singapore, being a parent in Singapore, and when it comes to just I guess raising your kid in this kind of environment then too. There's a lot of advantages that you have then, and it was kind of nice to kind of see that as you unfolds over the years then too, compared to being elsewhere, being in the States, and just how much you've changed mentally, physically, when you're parents, when you're going through this, and bring them up through basically the Singapore educational system, and how that's reflected in how she operates through everyday activities then too.
Yeah, so there's always these questions our friends or patients ask, obviously, would you stay here forever?
Possibly.
As long as Singapore government allow us to.
That's always key, right?
That's
I mean, I do see myself being here in the long term.
Yeah.
You know, but anything can happen. You know, at any given moment, something could happen. You saw what happened with COVID.
Yes,
Who knows? So
yeah.
you can't necessarily say for the future, but you know, you'd like to stay here for a very long time.
Yeah, and over the years we have integrated this Singapore very well. You know, our colleagues become our family. Like every year they invite us to Hari Raya, and that was a fun experience, especially for my mom, like for someone who's coming like very
and also weddings.
Yeah. So it become part of it become part of us over the year, definitely. And as long as the government allow us,
as long as things keep on
Mr. One allow us to stay.
As long as things keep on running, then too.
Yeah, and that's another reason we want to we will have this channel, is to close that gap between foreigners and the Singaporean, to clear that misconceptions between these two, because maybe there are some foreigners did not present itself in a way that is they intended to integrate, but I believe those are small minorities. Most of us, we want to integrate, we want to become part of communities, and
whenever you go to a country and decide to live there and set your roots, basically you want to integrate.
Yeah,
and you want to do the best you can with that then too. So you don't want to actually think that you're the. You don't want to bring necessarily. You don't want to bring any of your baggage.
Actually, if you do that, I don't think can stay very well. No. I mean, like our ex-colleagues from like UK or America, they're very like tied on to their own culture.
If you miss your own culture, chances are you're probably not.
You probably won't stay here anyway.
And that doesn't mean that I don't miss certain aspects of living at home, but you know, you slowly adapt to everything that's going on, and you enjoy what's going on here too. That you know, yes, well, to sacrifice, you know, what you get back is actually very beneficial, and so that's why you decide to stay and kind of set your ground, set your roots, everything.
So maybe like 10 years later, we can do the 23 years anniversary.
Maybe in a few years, do 15 years.
15 years,
you know,
that would be see if they
or maybe
change
do like an update every year.
If
anything changes.
If anything changes, next time. Okay, as long as Mr. Wang allows us to stay here, we'll be here. All right, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for spending the last 20 minutes with us. We really appreciate that.
And if this is something you like, let us know. If it's not, you know,
also let us know. Like, I don't like your hair.
You know, if you enjoyed the content, great. If you didn't enjoy the content, great. You know, thank you for
thank you for the view. Thank you for
watching, anyways. Because I know there's always people out there that don't necessarily like it, but hey, that's fine.
Yeah, and if you don't have the patience to come to the clinic to visit, just say hi. You know, give us feedback. You know, if that's something you feel comfortable doing, that's fine. We're always welcome. We're always welcome viewers or subscribers, even outside in the clinic. We're always welcome that. So, thank you so much, and as usual, we'll see you next time.
She put the camera down at her. Point it down.
Point it down. So you
want to see who else is here?
I cannot go further.
Can you point it down?
Cannot go.
Can you point the camera down?
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Oh, who's there? Who's been sitting there the whole time?
Yeah.
Say hi. Swazi. Say hi. Over here.
Or a Hong Kong cat.
You guys talking about me?
Okay.